I think you heard that we're going to flood. I think listening to Brian and Greg and Rory and just hearing what everybody has to say, it is a matter of time when it's going to occur, not if anymore. And that is going to present unique challenges to all of us. Knowing that there's going to be flooding, and Brian talked about several things. There are going to be life-threatening events potentially occurring throughout the summer and possibly even into the winter. He also talked about this short duration. It may be sunny in Oak Creek Canyon, but we have a rain cell up West Fork of Oak Creek that people in Oak Creek don't realize is there, and it drops significant amount of rain, or even a small amount of rain that can impact downstream. And those people recreating or living downstream may not know it. Maybe the warning system isn't as accurate, or maybe our warning is not out soon enough. Do you have the opportunity to evacuate, or do you have to run to high ground, relocate to higher ground, not in the bottom of a drainage? Those are some of the issues and challenges that we're going to be facing on how we get that word out. The use of the Code Red system, and many of you are familiar with that you can sign up for the emergency notification system within Coconino County as well as in Yavapai County. But that system has its limitations, and we'll talk about more about that later, and Rob Rowley will explain more about it later on. We have the siren system throughout the canyon, and it's very effective. It was utilized the other night for the most recent fire at Junipine, and before that on the main slide fire. That works very well, but it relies on people activating that system. And we also then have the effect on our response capabilities. How fast can we get there to help people? And Chief Kazian from Sedona Fire will spend some time explaining some of those challenges that we have with that. Looking at the populations that we have in Oak Creek Canyon, it's relatively easy to contact the business owners and the residents. Many of you are here, you know some of the problems, but you're also going to know what to do and where to go, how to access more information and what you need to do to stay safe. But the visitors in the canyon are the difficult ones to warn. How do we access them? As I said, Code Red is not going to reach them. They're not signed up. As they travel through Oak Creek Canyon or throughout Arizona, they're not signed up to these local systems. How many people, visitors, people recreating, do we have in Oak Creek Canyon at any given time? 500 or 5,000? It's really hard to say. How do we warn those visitors prior to that event? And Brian talked about we have systems in place. National Weather Service has a great system, but many people don't monitor those kinds of things. So some of the efforts that we're taking to try to get people noticed or warned about these situations. We're doing some radio messaging. Brian mentioned CAF radio. We'll be utilizing several radio stations to keep that message out there. We're discussing the possibility of establishing an AM radio station, much like you all see in construction zones where it says, turn to 1610 AM for information. Hopefully we'll be able to establish that in the canyon for these kinds of events. We're giving information to our business owners and campground hosts and any other businesses in the canyon to help distribute to visitors or people recreating the canyon about what they should do, where they should go, and how to stay safe. We're going to be providing the residents in the near future with information, packets of information through our CERT team, the Community Emergency Response Team volunteers that we utilize in Coconino County. We've also established a system with the Arizona Department of Transportation for variable message boards. Those are those lighted boards that you see as you drive down highways, providing information. There'll also be some fixed signing in the canyon as well as at each end of the canyon advising people what to do and how to obtain additional information. One area that we've discussed, I think, at great length is how do we still access people? We found out from ADOT the other day, many people visiting our community don't pay attention to signs. I think we all know that at times, especially speed limit ones, right? But it's important that we access or provide opportunities for those people. We'll be establishing advisory roadblocks on those days when we expect high monsoonal activity. Brian talked about a 30, 40, 50% chance of monsoonal activity that day. We will have advisory checkpoints at each end of the canyon, at Slide Rock and at the top of the switchbacks, where we will provide information to people traveling through the canyon to tell them what is going on, but also to give them information on what they should do in the event that there is some kind of flooding or debris flows in the canyon. What they need to do is so important. Just trying to drive out of the area may not be the best answer. This is an example of what we intend to pass out. It will be a two-sided document with the warning, as well as a map of the area with some prominent landmarks, campgrounds, things like that. So people traveling through the canyon should be able to reference where they are in the upper part of the canyon. Some additional activities that we're also going to be establishing are trying to enhance our capabilities. Cell phone communications in the upper part of the canyon are not good. They're not any better for us than they are for you. So we're exploring the possibility of obtaining some additional portable cell phone capabilities just to enhance our ability to access people, but our ability to talk to one another as well. We're also looking at the feasibility of putting up a radio repeater for the public safety agencies, because our radio communications are very poor in the canyon too. So if we're able to enhance the public's communications capability as well as ours, hopefully we can be more responsive and get those messages out. Looking at providing kiosks in the canyon as well. There's certain points established where this information can be passed on. We're also looking at some other technology that we're researching at this point, that is a mobile device that would allow us to potentially override local cell phones and provide emergency information on what to do. We've obtained a little bit of this information, but it's a small device that basically will take over local cell phones, and we could text out information if they're in one of these vulnerable areas on what to do, where to go, and how to get out of that situation. Last thing is, we're still looking for options. We're still looking for ideas on how to access people, how to serve them notice, what's the best way to inform people on what to do in the event that one of these alerts is activated. So we will be doing that after one or two events. We may be changing things, but we're going to be trying to change things in order to help people. Our desire is that we don't have any loss of life, but the potential certainly here, I think, from what you've heard for the last hour. So thank you.